Yesterday, we had yet another amazing fellowship. Every Sunday morning, we hold a fellowship at our church here. And if you were not there, because being there is even better than watching it online, even though watching it online, if you have no other choice, but being there is even more personal and, it's amazing. And so we dealt with the last week biblical question of what is the boomerang in your life? What is the boomerang in your life? And it was amazing discussion yesterday. We did something a little different than how we normally do it. And because I wanted to see for myself, I wanted to see, the people who are sincerely working on themselves and they truly want to overcome. Because a lot of times, just like with a Bible thumper, you can sit in church and just quote what the preacher say, quote what the Bible says. Or you could sit at our fellowship and just quote what I say. Sunday in and Sunday out, every Sunday or every day. You just quote it, but you don't have the understanding from it. But in your mind, you think you do, especially when you're quoted in front of someone and you get a thrill of them thinking that you know what you're talking about. Especially if somebody go, amen, it's over. And so I did something a little different yesterday because I wanted to see what was really going on. And it was mind-blowing. It was interesting. So if you didn't catch it live or you weren't there yesterday, you can podcast it at rebuildingtheman.com/church. rebuildingtheman.com/church. All right? So we dealt with the last week question, what is the boomerang in your life? And the boomerang in your life can be, I'll throw out ideas and you see what it is in your own life. It can be, number one, you still believe in thoughts. Thoughts get you into trouble, making you think you know what you know. And then you go back, you boomerang right back to thought to get the answer as to how to get out of the situation. And you end up back in the same situation or worse. So you keep going back to thoughts. You think that you're over anger. And then a situation arises and you're back to anger. And you thought anger and you think, wow, I thought I was over the anger. Or food or sex or whatever. Not realizing thinking these things is the problem. And so you keep thinking. The boomerang in your life is that you keep thinking. And somehow or another, you think that you're going to think your way out of these situations. And when it doesn't happen, you get another thought. Oh, I'm going to get married. I want kids. I want a family. That'll make me happy. And you think yourself right into a marriage and you catch nothing but hell. And then you tell yourself, well, you're not telling yourself that, but denying you telling yourself that, denying you that. I'm going to get out of this marriage. I'm going to divorce it. And then I'll be happy. And then I'll be happy. All you're doing is thinking yourself into deep situations and never overcoming. And then you say, I think I'm going to become a religious person. And I'm going to go to church and I'm going to learn about the Lord. And you go to church and you learn about the Lord, and now you think you know about the Lord, and nothing still get better for you. And you quote the scripture, you quote the scripture what you think about the Lord, but inwardly you're still miserable. You keep boomeranging right back to where you started. And you never stop to start questioning the thoughts. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel this way? Why am I attacking someone else when it's really me? It's in me. It's all in me. Anything you want, baby. It's in me. Just think about this. Consciously think about it. All of your situations, all of your problems, all of your issues, everything you are is in you. It ain't in somebody else. It's in you. It's in that cage that you live in. And you keep thinking that it's you or that it's someone else. So you keep boomeranging right back into your hell. Even when you think you're hurting others, you're really hurting yourself because you're in your cage hurting yourself. Even when you're out there trying to hurt someone else, okay, I know all your little business, I'm going to tell it. I'm mad now. I've been offended. Who has been offended? Who is the person you're talking about that has been offended? But you're boomeranging right back in your cave. It's interesting to know when you really, really, really know, meaning that you see it, but you don't think it. Because if you think it, you don't see it. That's just yet another thought. That you have no real issues. That there's no reason to be angry. Never, ever, 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 ever a reason to be angry. That you can literally lay your weapons down. You can lay your weapons down. Think about that. And end the war. You lay your weapon down, the battle is over. I was looking at a report this morning of these young folks at the universities. They're fighting against each other. Those who have joined with the Palestinians are fighting against those who have joined with the Jews. The Jews fight the Palestinians, and Palestinians fighting the Jews. And I promise you, without a doubt, I have no doubt, none of them, not one, can honestly tell you why they're fighting, other than what they've been told that it's about. And they have been told to take a side. And their fight is not solving one problem. It's not going to solve the problem, period. But they're fighting, they're like mad at one another and trying to hurt each other over opinions that have been fed to them. And it's not going to solve one thing. If the war ends between the Jews and the Palestinians, it's just going to start up somewhere else and eventually start again with them. Because they're fighting over thoughts and feelings and calling it something else. They have the same issues that every human being has. They're living in their imagination. Everyone does. I don't care who you are, what religion you think you belong to. It's all about you all the time and never, ever about anyone else. I saw one lady who happened to be black. She worked for the department of somebody at one of the universities. And a black lady, she said that in reality, because the kids have been brainwashed for so long now in the schools about all the stuff they've been taught, and she said that in reality, the fight is about getting rid of anything white. The white Jews, the white Christians, because they are occupying the land. So anything white is what they're trying to get rid of, and they'll brainwash the kids to support it because of the occupying of the land, occupation of the land. And you hear them saying in this country that white people are occupiers. They took the land from the Indians, And over there, they're saying the Jews are the occupiers. They took the land from the Palestine, I guess. And the people who have been brainwashed to join, take sides and fight, even if, let's say that the war ended and the Jews gave up the land and the white people just gave up all the land and they went back to the moon or wherever they came from, the people who are fighting ain't going to get 1 acre of the land. The kids ain't going to get 1 piece of the land at all. And then the fight will start between that particular government and the people over there. It's a spiritual fight, folks. It's not physical at all. So stop. Pay attention. You're being played. You're being used. Our government using us. All government used the citizens. And they sacrifice the citizens' lives. They'll let you get killed. They'll blow you up. They'll blow you away. And it all depends on which side you're on that you'll feel bad about it. If you're on the side of the Jews, you're going to feel awful when the kids and the people are killed. Oh, I feel so bad for them. But when the kids and the people are killed on the other side, you feel nothing. Or if you're on the side of Palestine, you're going to feel bad when the kids of Palestine are killed. But when the kids of the Jews are killed, you don't feel nothing. Oh, they're occupiers. See how phony and evil that is? But you don't pay attention to yourself to really and truly see the game that evil is playing upon you. And all of your ideas, all of your plans and your thoughts and your ideas are not your own. You're being controlled. Just think about the fact that human beings fight one another, try to hurt one another. That alone should say, well, you know, something's wrong with this. I'm a human being. That's a human being. Why are we fighting one another? We were all created by God. Who is causing us to do this? Who is causing me to try to hurt my fellow man? When Christ said, pray for your fellow man. Go to your fellow man. Pray for your fellow man. You don't do that. The devil said, hurt your fellow man. You do that. And you don't think about it. Why don't you think about what's happening in your own life? Why don't you think, oh, I love this person as long as this person agree with me and make me feel good. And as soon as this person make me feel bad, that's my enemy. I'm creating an enemy out of this person. And you blame the person saying that they're your enemy, but you created the enemy. And feeling good and feeling evil are both evil. It's both evil. And evil give you excuses both ways. I'm telling you this because if you can see it for yourself, you in your world will be free. In the hell of a world that's happening around you. And you need to bank on this one. You can invest in it. You can bank on it. You can get high dividends from it. If a person would turn on you, if a person would turn on one person, they'll turn on the next one. They'll turn on you. It's the same spirit. Whether it's your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your children, your friends, your workers, your co-workers, your boss, members of the church, if they turn on one, they will turn on all. They just haven't turned on you yet because you haven't crushed their ego. You make their egos feel good, and they need that. Because in their imagination, they think that they're what they're not. They think they have friends. They think they have this. They think they have that. But it's the same spirit. It's evil. Christ said, do not trust an angry person. Anyone that has any iota of anger cannot be trusted. They are a murderer. You need to pay attention so the truth can protect the real you. And the truth will allow the not you to die spiritually. The spirit of evil must die. In order to enter into the kingdom of heaven, the spirit of anger must die. It's not going to get in. You can pretend that it's in, that you're in. You can quote the scripture. You can quote what I say or anyone said, but you ain't in there. You can think you're in there, but you're not, because you quote well. And you feel good in quoting. And people look at you with glassy eyes, and you feel good because they're looking at you, thinking that you know what you're talking about, and you feel good that they think that you know, and they don't know you're miserable on the inside. Because as soon as the audience is gone, you boomerang right back into your loneliness, your fears, your doubts, your emotions. You're searching for relief. If you pay attention to all yourself, you can overcome all this stuff. And one last thing about that, you can bank on this. God's kingdom is not in time. It's not in time at all. It's not in the past. It's not in the future. It's not yesterday. And it's not tomorrow. It's right here, right now, all the time. Right here, right now, all the time. It's always now. It's never the future or the past. And I would suggest that you stop letting time, which is of the devil, which is evil, steal your now. You don't have to let it steal your present. It's just you're too lazy to pay attention and keep it from doing it by being aware. And so you love your hell, and you get life from trying to inflict your hell upon someone else. But I would suggest you stay present. You practice it. You do the silent prayer morning and night. During the day, keep your mind where your body is. And one day, you will forget the old nature, and you will wake up to the new nature. And it's nothing, zero, nothing like what you can imagine. You can't even imagine what it's like. Any imagination about it is just imagination. Just thoughts is not real. The mind cannot conceive the things of truth, of God. So you might as well stop trusting your mind if you want to be free. You want a thoughtless life, a life without thinking about it, but to just live it. But you got to let yourself descend down into hell so you can rise and live. But as long as you're protecting that and then blaming others for it, hell and damnation is yours. I would practice living in the present if I were you. That's what I do. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's what I do. And it's just been amazing what I've come to understand. Lay your weapon down. I don't care who else hold on to theirs. Let the people fight in their little rallies. Let them take sides and think they know what they're talking about and destroy themselves, because that's all that's happening. And the people that they think they're protecting can care less about them. Zero. That's why they brainwash them, so they can use them in order to gain perceived power, wealth for themselves. They don't care if y'all kill one another. They don't care if you fight one another. They don't care. You've been set up for that person. They don't care if a bomb fall on you, or some person with a suicide belt walks in the midst of you, or you get shot, you get killed. Look what's happening in our country. People getting killed all the time. You think the government or the media or anyone care? You don't even care, to be honest. Women getting mugged and raped and killed in the streets. Businesses are getting so-called snatch and grab. The border is wide open. Oil prices going through the roof, and now they're saying because of the war over yonder, the oil prices are going to get worse. And if you really pay attention, they're talking about giving Israel, the Palestine, Iran, or somebody, and Ukraine more money. More money. Think about this. Because they're trying to help them when they're doing absolutely nothing at home. Zero. Not one dime. Ain't no money for Americans to be safe. Police bring back the cops, close the borders, ship the illegals back, get rid of the drugs, drill oil here. They're doing, think about that. They're literally doing nothing. It's like a man meeting another woman. He's married with a family. He meets another woman who either been married, has children, and she live across the road. And this man go move in with her and feed this woman and her children while right across the road, his own children and wife, ex-wife, whatever you want to call it, are starving. And he doesn't lay one hand down to do anything about it. That's how we've been treated in this country. And then they'll go on TV and give emotional speeches, and then you'll go vote for them. Make you want to cuss. You're not, and I don't care what party you belong to. How come common sense don't kick in? Why are these people not doing anything for America? Not one thing to improve the country. But they're constantly begging for billions of dollars for other countries. How come they love them more than they love home? And how can you love, if you love them, why don't you love home as much? You can't love one. You can't hate one, but love the rest. If you don't love all, you love none. But I want you to really pay attention. They're doing absolutely nothing. The Democrats or the Republicans. And the media is supporting them. And then the news now is mostly about the war and little or nothing about what's still happening in our country. Because the voting time is coming. They don't want you to remember this. They want your focus on what they want you to focus on, just like the devil wants you to focus on what he wants you to focus on, and that is on somebody else and not yourself. It's a spiritual battle. And you're letting evil win inside of you. And just as it wins inside of you, it's winning on the outside of you as well, because you're controlled by the world. You think you got a battle going. And you think that complaining about what somebody else is doing is going to make you free. All the thing it does is enhance your ego. It makes you feel like you're doing something important. If you look around, ain't nothing changing. And you've been out there making a fool of yourself, and nothing is changing. And the people with the money, with the fame, and whatever you're trying to get, they're gone with theirs. And they'll use you. When will you wake up? And if you're going to wake up? I know some will, most won't. Some hate their hell, and they try to overcome it. Most love their hell, and they stay in it and want to inflict it on you.